Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel again. Today we're picking up the MP7. Not exactly sure where we left it last time. It's been a while, I haven't edited the footage yet. But it took some time for the Bugatti parts to arrive. So right now I have already assembled the barrel with the new nut, as you can see. So it fits really nicely in there. Made sure the barrel was centered, and right now I'm getting a really nice, I hope you can see this. Yeah. So right now we're getting a really nice push down of the contact badge with the stock booking. The new lever fits in there really nice. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, because that's definitely gonna be an improvement on the shooting consistency. So we're going to assemble this again. So we're gonna start with the barrel. So these screws are already tightened. I'm just going to put that in here. And maybe I need to show this in detail. So as you can see, the lever is clearing the plastic body really nicely. Just like that. The nozzle has also been reassembled, and it has that cutout to clear the hop lever. So that's also been done. The end pass is in there. So we can crack on with this. Then we have the barrel. The steel outer barrel. Let's push that in. And then we have the hop up adjustment lever. That's in like that. And it can move. Alright. Then this thing does absolutely nothing, but it's a nice detail of how the real thing also kind of looks. Hex towards the outside, just like that. Alright. And then we do need to grab some grease. So I will be using some PTFE grease for some of the components. That's for the hammer. I'm only going to apply a really light coat, nothing too fancy. That's the hammer. Then we have this part. I hope this will stay in place. Because this one is under a lot of spring tension. I hope it doesn't go flying. Just gonna hold my finger here for now. Yeah, these parts I have over. This is exterior. This thing I can slide in from underneath. I kind of think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, what I can do is now lightly lubricate the guide rails completely. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. also going to lubricate the bolt later. Alright. Okay. I'm going to start at the front. And now with these screws here in the plastic, you absolutely don't want to over torque them. When you feel resistance, you stop. And always make sure that they don't start to re-thread themselves. So make sure that you pick up the existing threads. That's kind of important. Because they should go back in with ease without having to force them in. Because if you do feel too much resistance, then just back them out and make sure that they grab the existing threads that were already formed. Alright, yeah, that's not tight enough. Alright, that should be good. To lubricate the threads for the flash hider a little bit so it can be removed a little bit easier. Pull this up. think I should have started with this part. I think that would have been a better idea. So we have this tiny spring that goes in the bottom. So I'm hoping to get just a little bit of grease down there so that the spring will stick. And now I also have to pre-compress it, because else I will damage the spring. And like that, it should be good. There's also a really small ridge behind there, so make sure that it's behind that ridge. And then this big spring goes in the front. And then I should be able to just press that in here. And I also might be able now to already cut the hammer. Yeah. And now it will just stay in place because that component is in. Then I can push that component in as well. I also think you can do this as one of the later components. But it is easier to start on this side because right now we're going to flip it over after we've turned this part in. Well, this thing is going in tight, but I also believe it came out quite tight. So let's just check. Now I am going to screw it in from here. And like that, it's almost centered over the two halves of the body. Then we're going to rotate this around. Hopefully nothing flies. Yes. Then we have this component. I should be using some tweezers. it doesn't help that this is magnetic, but we're going to seat the spring in first, then try to push. Just like that. First this. With the tiny spring. And then this last one, and it grabs under the lever, and the spring is a little bit fucked, but oh, and now also comes the most tricky bit, hoping that everything stays together, especially with this one. And I think I'm just going to hold it for now like this. Must not forget that plate. Yeah, that's it right now. That's nice. Just to double check before we're going to slide everything back in. Yeah, still looking good. And it slides then right into the front. I'm now holding it a little bit clumsy. Maybe. Alright. That goes in. Look at that, without springs flying. That's nice. Then comes the plate. It's oriented like this. Yeah. Plate is back in. Okay, that clicks. Hammer it in like this. And there it goes. A little bit further. Just like that. Okay, if I now, I can't pull the trigger now because of course it hasn't properly engaged, but we're first going to do a small function check. And also I am going to lubricate the bolt. So right here, just a little bit. And then the hammer releases. So that's pretty nice. Just have to push or take the bolt back out. So I'm just going to cut the hammer again. Yeah. So that's that for the function check. Because then I can reassemble this. This one is very tight. Just like that. And that's it. Cool, cool. So I'm happy with how that is going along. Let's put some tools out of the way. And the front cap can go back on. And then the flash hider keeps the cap in place. And we're just going to turn this by hand as tight as we can. It doesn't need to be overly tight. Alright, that's all still solid. Put a little bit of oil on the spring guide or on the just like that. Now let's see how this clutch thing fits. So the rear pin is in. Now for the front pin, because oh wow, that goes in hella tight. So let's definitely loop that pin. A little bit of grease did the trick, but that went in quite tight, so I definitely recommend putting some lube on that pin. I also could see that the hole was slightly off. That's also why it goes in quite tight. Now it is leaving a little bit of a gap, but that's due to the body, because here it looks like it's even. And here it's curved inwards. But that has to do with the body part. Now this works, which is nice. Nozzle is also sticking in the front. While that is not necessary, it is nice to see. And then let's put the stock in. Let's see if I can judge the engagement of the latch. That looks okay. Yeah, it's also typical for an MP7, like the real ones, at least as what I have seen and heard on Garand Thumb, that the stock and the latch can become a problem over time. Somehow that it wears quite fast, and then once you're shooting it on the recoil, the stock just shoots inwards. That's not ideal. But this is fitting now really nicely. Now let's get this off safe. That also works great. So it's back together. Now let's gas up one mag. Don't need a whole lot of gas for this. Now there are absolutely, positively no BBs in the chamber. And it's catching. God damn. The kick on this thing is just so nice. Fucking love it. Oh yeah. Good. Stock also didn't move in under those few shots. Let's see if we can do a little bit of full auto. Yeah. Excellent. Alright, that's it. She's all back together. That locks up as well. Great. What I'll do next is clean up a little bit of grease on the inside of the ejection port, because that's too much. That doesn't have to be there. After that, I'm going to take it out to a controlled environment where I can do some test shooting. I'll also check these bolts if they are still all nice and tight. And that's pretty much it. Then again, go back to my friend. One thing that I am almost forgetting, that is how the fake silencer turned out. He wanted the tracer inside, the tracer unit, so we did that. So we have this internal sleeve, and there we have the tracer unit. So what he can do is he can unscrew the tracer unit, turn it on, put it into the sleeve that perfectly fits the tracer unit. Then he can slide this thing in. It absolutely fits perfectly. It took a lot of time sanding it, you know, 3D printing, it's just how it is. And I also wanted it to fit just right so that it doesn't have any play like that. It has a little bit of play back and forward. Maybe we can shim that out with a piece of duct tape, but this is not bad. This will bother no one. And yeah, but now he has a built-in tracer unit. It does make the silencer a little bit heavier, but that is of course how it then is. This fits on there rock solid, almost no play. And then we have an MP5 with a really nice silencer. So let me just complete that picture. I know I cannot get it into the view of the camera all at once, but this absolutely looks sick. I definitely have to get myself one of these at some point. Yeah. Hammer is released, and then if he wants to take it off, just like that. Now the front of the barrel is pretty well supported, so it is supported by the clamping force of the front cap with the body. It's also supported by the internal body with the metal outer barrel. So there is pretty much no chance that this fucks up anything, even if he hits it against something. So that'll be nice. Yeah, I just really like these things. So I'm going to clean that, check the bolts, and then do some test shooting. What I will also show after this is the end pass, what that is shooting now, if I adjust it, what kind of results we're getting then, because we're going for just under 1.2 joules with 0.3s. So let's just see how that goes. To the shooting test then. Shooting test with the MP7. It is 19 degrees Celsius in here, just about, and we are using Phylax green gas. I have no idea how the hop-up is set, so I kind of turned it in a little bit, but the shooting trajectory I still have to check, so here it goes. So it's shooting really low. Let me check if that is part of the hop-up. So hop-up is completely turned off. Nope. So that's not the hop-up. Let me turn the hop-up a little bit on. Maybe all the way. Nope. Okay, so we need to check the end pass because it is shooting way too low. Alright, new attempt. Right now I've grabbed again a fresh magazine that I filled up with Redwolf green gas. It was some other gas that I have around. Somehow either it was that I had no hop turned on, because I also turned on some hop now, and maybe it's the Phylax gas. Let's see. Let's put it on full auto. And now I'm definitely out. Yeah, and it locks back on empty. Sometimes it does lock up, sometimes it doesn't. Of course, the joules on full auto are all over the place. The magazine is really cold now. So at least it's shooting now under 1.2 joules. It's shooting also a little bit on the low side of the joules still. I need to see if I can make a small adjustment, if I can turn the end pass off just a little bit more, because I think I can, just a hair, then it's completely turned off. I can experiment with a little bit of different gas. Let me also do that. Let me just grab some red gas. So I also have some Nuprol red gas. Let me just quickly try that. This is with Nuprol red gas. So as you can see, that greatly matters. So I have a few BBs left. Let's do that on full auto. Awesome. And surprisingly it locked back. Okay. And that's the finish of this project. So right now it can go back in the case, and then it can go back to my acquaintance. So that's quite nice. So I still have to do some shooting outside. I need to check how the hop-up works and what the BB trajectory is doing. I suspect that that will be just fine. Then after that it will go into the box. I will not update you on that because that is not necessary anymore. I know that this hop-up will work and that my acquaintance will be very happy with this. That's kind of it. See you in the next video.